I used to think napping was one of the last good rewards you get from making it past 80. You survive decades of raising children, working your fingers raw, burying people you love, and you earn the right to close your eyes whenever you darn well please. At least that's what I told myself. Turns out my afternoon naps was stealing my nights right out from under me, and I didn't even know it till I spent 3 months barely sleeping past 2 in the morning. My name is Ruth Ann Calloway, 86 years old, raised in Owensboro, Kentucky, been living alone since my husband Gerald passed in 2019. I have been fighting with sleep like it owes me money for the better part of 4 years. But I figured something out, something my doctor never quite explained the way I needed to hear it. And if you're lying awake at night wondering what happened to your sleep, I want you to stay with me. This might just be your answer too. Here's what I'll share today. I'm going to tell you how my napping habit, the one thing I thought was keeping me going, was actually the reason I couldn't sleep at night. And I'll walk you through the 5 changes I made that gave me my nights back without giving up daytime rest entirely. Because listen, I ain't about to tell an 86-year-old woman she can't close her eyes after lunch. That would be cruel. But there's a right way and a wrong way to nap. And honey, I was doing it all wrong. Let me take you back about 2 years. After Gerald passed, this house got real quiet, too quiet. His old lazy boy recliner was still right where he left it. I'd settle in with the television on low, and somewhere along the way I started falling asleep in that chair every afternoon around 1, 2 o'clock. At first it was 20 minutes. Then it crept to an hour. Then sometimes I'd wake up at nearly 5 thinking, Lord, where did the whole day go? And I didn't mind at first, felt like I deserved it. Here's the thing, I felt fine after those naps, refreshed even. But then nighttime would come and I'd lie in bed wide awake, eyes open, mind going nowhere good. I'd watch the clock creep from 11 to midnight to 1 to 2, then finally drift off around 3, only to wake at 5 feeling like I'd been run over by something slow and heavy. By noon, I needed another nap, and the whole ugly cycle would start right back up. My daughter Carolyn finally said, Mama, you look exhausted for someone who sleeps half the day. And child, she was right. I was sleeping plenty of hours, just all the wrong ones. Now, the first thing I learned changed everything. Your body builds up something during the day. They call it adenosine. I ain't a scientist, but think of it like pressure building in a kettle. The longer you stay awake, the more that pressure rises. By nighttime, it should be high enough to push you into deep, solid, restorative sleep. But when you take a long nap in the afternoon, you release that pressure too early. It's like somebody cracked the valve open at 2 p.m. and let all the steam out. So by bedtime, the kettle's gone cold. You lie there feeling tired, but your body doesn't have enough built-up pressure to pull you under. I learned about that from a book my granddaughter left at my house. Some sleep doctor wrote it. When I read that part, I sat here and thought, well, Lord, that's exactly what I've been doing, emptying the kettle every afternoon and wondering why there's nothing left come nightfall. Now, not all naps are created equal, and this part surprised me. A 20-minute nap does something entirely different than a 90-minute one. 20 minutes keeps you in light sleep, little boost, little refresh, doesn't drain your sleep pressure too much. But sleep an hour or more and you drop into deep sleep. That's when your brain gets confused. It thinks you already took your main rest for the day. So when nighttime comes, it says, we already did this, we're good. And I was napping 2, sometimes 3 hours. Child, I was sleeping a whole second night in the middle of the day. No wonder my body didn't see the point of doing it again. So here are the 5 changes I made. First, I set the timer. 25 minutes, not a second more. I use the timer on my kitchen stove because I don't trust my phone to do anything right. When that timer goes off, I get up, period. Even if I feel like I could sleep another hour, especially if I feel like that, because that pull to keep sleeping, that warm, heavy, delicious feeling, that's the trap, honey. That's your body trying to spend tonight's sleep right now. Second, I moved my nap earlier. I used to nap at 2, sometimes 3 in the afternoon. Now I lie down right after lunch, around 12:30. Your body has a natural dip in energy in the early afternoon. It's part of what they call the circadian rhythm, that internal clock we all carry. Nap during that natural dip and you work with your body. Nap at 3 or 4 and you're too close to your evening wind down. Throws the whole night off. Third, I stopped napping in the recliner. Like I said, Gerald's old lazy boy was too comfortable. Once I sank into it, my body thought it was nighttime. Now I use the couch. Light blanket, no pillow. Comfortable enough to rest, but not so comfortable I'd fall into that deep, dead-to-the-world sleep that was wrecking everything. Fourth, I quit falling asleep to the television. Used to put on old game shows, volume low, let the chatter drag me under. But the TV was training my brain to need sound for sleep. Then at night, in the dead silence of this house, my brain just spun its wheels. It had learned to sleep with noise, and quiet confused it. I started napping in silence and sleeping in silence, and after about 2 weeks, my brain remembered what quiet was for. Fifth, and this might be the most important one, I gave myself permission to feel tired in the afternoon without acting on it. This is hard at 86. Tiredness at this age feels like a warning. You think, what if something's wrong? What if my body needs this? And sometimes it does. Always listen to your body. But most of the time, that afternoon heaviness is just your natural rhythm passing through. I started taking a short walk when it hit, to the mailbox and back, or a few slow laps around my kitchen, watching the birds outside. 5 minutes of moving and the sleepiness would lift like fog burning off a morning field. Not every time, but most. I'll be honest with you, it took about 3 weeks to see real change. First week was miserable, tired during the day because I cut the nap short, still awake at night because my body hadn't adjusted. I almost gave up, told Carolyn it wasn't working, said I was just tired all the time now. She said, "Mama, give it 1 more week." So I did. Somewhere in that second week, something shifted. I started falling asleep by 10:30, not staring at the ceiling, actually sleeping. By week 3, I was getting 5, sometimes 6 straight hours. At 86, honey, that's about as good as it gets. I take it with both hands, and I'm grateful every morning. I ain't no doctor, and I want to be clear about that. What worked for me might not work the same for you. If you're having serious trouble sleeping, the kind where you go days barely resting, talk to somebody who studied this. But if you're caught in that merry-go-round of long naps and broken nights the way I was, just know the nap itself might be what's stealing your sleep. Here's what sits with me now. When I lie down at night and feel sleep coming easy the way it should, I think about all those nights I wasted being angry at my body, thinking it was failing me, wearing out, giving up on me the way old things do. But it wasn't broken, child. It was confused. I was sending it wrong signals all day, and it was doing the very best it could with what I gave it. Soon as I changed those signals, it changed right back. Gerald used to say, "You can't fix what you won't look at honestly." He was right about most things. 86 years in this body, and I'm still learning how to listen. Maybe that's the real gift. The learning never stops. Sleep is a gift, sugar, a real one. At my age, every good night of rest feels like a quiet little mercy. Don't let a bad habit steal that from you when the fix might be simpler than you think. Rest well tonight. I truly mean that.